everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. You'll note that my slide deck is titled a little bit differently. You signed up for Billing Best Practices, but I like to think about why folks attend these meetings, and it's very rarely, do we think about the creation of billing and invoicing and creating documentation for our clients. Rarely do we do it for the sake of the document itself, right? It's the end goal. So we're going to wait just one more minute while some other people join us, but we are going to talk about best practices for your firm today. We are going to talk about some best practices in billing. In fact, we're going to go one step deeper than we do on some of these webinars, and we're actually going to talk about how you can implement some of those practices in TimeSolve specifically. I know that you have been in and around the TimeSolve ecosystem. In fact, that's who invited you to join today's webinar. So as we are waiting just 15 more seconds, I want you to start thinking about your questions. You have an opportunity to submit questions throughout today's presentation. I will try to limit this to 20 or 25 minutes. We'll have some time for questions on the back end. If I don't get to them during the presentation, I will absolutely get to them at the end. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So my name's Joyce Bradford. This is a little bit of identification verification. That's me on the slide. That's me right here. I'm a legal tech advisor. I work for a company called ProfitSolve. You can find us at profitsolve.com. I have been in and around legal tech since 2011 when I got started at the North Carolina Bar Association, and I worked in the practice management department there. So I've been helping lawyers with tech questions for a long time. I've been researching solutions for a very, very long time. I've been doing webinars and programming and CLE and all sorts of things. So I do my best to give you good information. I will tell you, no one knows everything. So never get advice from just one source. Okay, so today's agenda, when we're talking about billing best practices, and really we're talking about how we can bill today, and how that can translate into getting paid very quickly, right? That's the goal. We want clients who are satisfied with our work, who are happy to pay our bills because they understand the value that we have provided to them, and we want to get paid quickly. That's the whole goal, right? That's the name of the game. So let's talk about how we can do both of those things today. First, before we can talk about anything else, we need to talk about how to get happy clients. Happy clients starts with a setting of expectations, right? If a client expects something totally different than what you are actually going to provide, we need to adjust those expectations pretty quickly. And sometimes they don't know what to expect. So it's our job as professionals to set the tone for them. That stretches all the way to billing and timekeeping, guys. So we're going to get there, but I want to give you a few quick tips before we get there. First, you need to make sure that you have a welcome email that gives them their timeline for when they should expect to be billed. You need to have a system in place for regular updates, and we're going to talk about capturing the time that's involved in those updates. So this isn't just lost administrative time, and we're going to talk about the value of a client portal as well. So a good welcome email, it's going to set that emotional and professional expectation that they're going to get from your firm, right? It creates a sense of belonging. They're part of the group now. Welcome to this. This is what we're going to do. We're happy to have you as part of our family of clients. Maybe you use that terminology, maybe you don't, and you're going to offer some methodology for self-help, including the client portal, which we're going to get to in just a second. But that welcome email is part of what should go out. In that email, you by necessity need to tell them when they can expect to be billed, right? If that needs to be a field that's a custom field in your welcome email, then do it. Set that up in your documents, right? That field needs to be filled in for each individual client, but tell them when they expect to be billed if you're not billing all your clients on a regular basis. You need to always engage in frequent updates. So when you are engaged in updates, you need to tell them what you've been doing for them. Now, this goes back to capturing billing, and we're going to get into the actual nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes of this and how we're actually going to capture that time. But we need to create a sense of meaningful work for the client. We cannot randomly email Mrs. Jones and say, Mrs. Jones, I've been working on your case. You'll hear from me again soon. Meaningful updates mean, you're ticking off a list of things that have been accomplished or your upcoming events for her. You need to be able to provide answers to questions before they are asked, and you need to help your client understand your value as a service provider. I'm going to read that again because this is the key to getting clients who are going to pay you. Help your clients understand your value as a service provider. And that is done through regular client updates. If a client has to email you or ask you for things all the time, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know why they should wait. They don't know when they should be in contact with you, right? Send them regular updates. And this is part of keeping track of your time. If you can't do this, then you're not going to create happy clients who are happy to pay your invoice because they know that you have provided meaningful work for them. All right, so I do want to talk about client portals. This is something that is available in every good time and billing solution. It's also included in TimeSolve. So sometimes we think about client portals as necessary for larger solutions or very advanced practice management solutions. Sometimes we think about client portals as we don't need that. We're just a little guy around the corner. Our clients don't want to log into a client portal. That's a bunch of malarkey. Every law firm needs to be using well a client portal. In your client portal, you need to be able to send your invoices to your client, right? This is your secure way of contacting someone. So I know that we are, if we are old school lawyers, there's this tendency to either actually print out a piece of paper and mail it to someone, or to create an email attachment and send someone an invoice that way as a PDF. Folks, you absolutely can. There's nothing inherently wrong with that other than the time that it takes and the lack of security involved in that. Anyone can open someone else's mail, right? Is it a felony? Sure it is, but you still can. Email, when it's sent from one person to another person, by the very nature of email, goes across multiple public email servers. That Google address that you're sending your client mail to, that Gmail account, that AOL account, even your Outlook account, goes through public email servers. That's just the way email is designed. Copies of those documents, those emails, are stored at least for a short period of time on those servers. It's just another place, another weak point in your digital security, right? So you should be using a client portal. Client portals do not have to be scary. They do not have to be overly complicated. It is just a place where someone has a username and password and logs in. It's the same thing that they do with their utility account when they pay it online, or it's the same thing they do when they use their online banking system. They have a username and a password. Same thing they do when they log into their insurance provider, right? You're a professional service and you should treat your clients as if you were providing a professional service. There's no reason that the insurance company should have a more secure system than you do when you are dealing with person's life, liberty, and property. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of my personal takes. It's my hot take on client portals, but please make sure you're using them. It is involved, or it is available. It's part of the services in TimeSolve, so please make sure you're using it. I don't want to spend too much time on communication style other than I really want you guys to focus on the art of the rapid reply because, again, clients who are heard are clients who pay. So you want document automation, you want pre-drafted emails, you want consistent language across practice areas, staff, and systems, right? So here we go. Our standardized billing process. You need to be capturing absolutely everything as you go. Are you researching something for a client? Are you drafting a document for a client? Are you in court actually present for a client? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You need to be asking yourself that all day long. And if that's not a question that you're regularly asking yourself, go into your desk right now, get out a Post-it and write on it, what are you doing? And stick it to the wall right in front of you. Stick it on your monitor if that's what you need to do. Ask yourself, what are you doing? And every single time you see that posted throughout the day, you need to say, what am I doing? Am I working for a client? Am I capturing this time? You need to capture absolutely everything. I don't care if it's administrative time that's not associated with a matter. I don't care If it's unbillable time or no charge time, I don't care. It needs to be captured. That is the only way for you to truly understand how much time you are spending on your client matters. You absolutely cannot, and I'm going to just be very forceful with this. You cannot accurately predict how much time you are going to spend on future clients unless you are accurately capturing the time you're spending on clients today, right? Non-billable time, no charge time, write-off time, write-down time, anything that you are working for a client, it doesn't matter if you charge them or not, needs to be recorded in your system. Why do we do that? One, we need to be able to, as business owners, or as responsible professionals, right? We need to be accountable to ourselves, to our clients, to the state bar, right? We need to be accountable here. Beyond just that accountability side of things, and just making sure that we're standing up for our that we are being as ethical as we are, as we have sworn to be, right? We've all taken our oaths. Good timekeeping is a shield against write-downs and write-offs, as well as malpractice claims. If you bill a client and they dispute it, and they try to do a chargeback, or they try to take you to the state bar, the only defense you have is how much time you have captured. That's it. You can say whatever you want to say. You can say, oh, well, I did this, and that. These are the things that I've delivered. And sure, those are fine. That's, circumstantial evidence, right? Oh, well, I have a product that I've delivered, sure. But in order to say I have accurately billed for the time, you need to have the time recorded. It's just that simple. This is true also for fixed fees, folks. If you have a fixed fee, even if someone signs it and they take you to the state bar and they say, oh, well, they said that they were going to do this, that, and the other, but they really only spent 30 minutes doing this. I could have gotten this off of LegalZoom or whatever it happens to be. You need to be capturing the time and the work that you've done. So billing best practices, it all comes down to capturing absolutely everything. So how in the world do we capture absolutely everything? And this is why I want to talk to you specifically about TimeSolve today. In TimeSolve, you have the ability to track time absolutely everywhere. Do it on your PC, do it on your phone. Are you not connected to the internet? Not a big deal. There's an app that lives directly on your computer where you can track time. In your time card entry in TimeSolve, you see who something is for, the date that it's captured. You have the associated matter. All of these are drop downs or calendars that you can select from. You also have the ability to add task codes, and we're going to talk about being consistent in our descriptions in just a moment here. You have, if it's billable, non-billable, no charge time. You have the practice area that it's associated with. You have your rate there, and you also have additional fields for description. It is the easiest system in the world to just track your time. Now, it's really easy. It's really easy to just, say at the end of the day, I'm going to track all my time. And in fact, the ABA recommends that you enter your time at least once a day. I will tell you that that is not enough. There is not a lawyer on the planet that can accurately recall what they have done every single minute of the current day. You're busy. You have conversations. You don't know when they stop and start. You don't know exactly when you began working on a document. There's no way to know that. So you need to be tracking that time. Now, here's the other piece of this. Because we are professionals, just by the nature of our work, we sometimes move between tasks. So not only are we trying to capture the time that we're running right now, but we need to capture time that we're about to start running 30 seconds from now. The only way to do this is to have multiple timers. You can create a brand new time card entry every single time you start something. However, that creates an odious amount of work. So what I suggest that you do is that you use the multiple timer system within TimeSolve. The easiest way to do this is to look at your calendar and to start your timers, or to get them ready at the beginning of the day for the tasks that you know are going to be there. You can also have another timer that's just blank that you can just pop into whenever something else comes up, right? But you need to have your multiple timers and you need to go back and forth between them. Now, importantly, you are not allowed, the rules of professionalism, your rules of ethics do not allow you to double bill for your time, right? That's something that I think we all sort of know, but it's easy to think that maybe we should, right? Whether we're traveling somewhere for multiple clients or um, uh, doing research that's applicable for multiple clients, you cannot double bill your time. You have to, in that case, use split billing, which you can manage in TimeSolve. It's possible. It's there. It's part of the system. You can split out that time, right? But you need to make sure that, and TimeSolve does this for you, that only one timer is running at a time, and that you're not capturing time for multiple clients during the same block of actual time. I mean, is time real? I don't know. It's theoretical, but the same block of theoretical time, right? Let's just be nerdy for a minute. So use multiple timers. One will run, the others will stop. Have them ready to go throughout the day. Keep your time as you go. Do not buy into this idea that you can just go back and capture your time. Now, there is the very reasonable assumption that you're just going to miss something every now and then. Put time on your calendars. Best practice here is to block out 15 minutes, 20 minutes of administrative time, sometime in the afternoon, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, where you go back and you just make sure that you've accounted for everything that you've done, that there is a timer for every minute. And if there's not, then you need to go back and look at what you've done, review your phone records, review your browsing history, whatever you need to do, and capture it here. But billing best practice is to capture every single minute of every single day. And this can be second nature to you folks. It's just part of what you do to have a timer running. Now, again, when we talk about best practices, you need to understand that a client is not going to be super happy if they just say, if you just have research on an invoice, right? That's not going to work. You need to have descriptive descriptions. Say it with me, descriptive descriptions. If you are good about having descriptions, your clients are generally going to say, okay, well, I understand that, right? And it's not going to be, you having to make things up when they call you or having to go back and scan your brain about what exactly you are researching. So what I would advise you to do, and again, ABA best practice on this, is not to say something like legal research. You want to say legal research and the topic, and you want to even identify the statute if you can, right? But when you're talking about adding time to a matter, it's helpful to have just a quick abbreviation for at least your task code. Now, not everybody uses task codes, but I'm a big fan of them because they keep invoices clean and consistent. So I look at the time I've spent, the matter on which I was working, and I break up my days by matters, not by clients. The time that I spend in my fee agreement is for an individual matter. It's not going to be for an individual client, right? And I bill against an individual matter. It's possible to go the other way, but keeping things matter consistent keeps your trust and bank account records more consistent and keeps you more aligned with the way the rules of professional conduct are designed to deal with legal accounting, right? So I look at the time, the matter, then I'm going to look at my task code. What's that high level description of what I've done? I'm at my task code there, and then I'm going to have a fuller description that I can choose or not to include on my invoice, right? But how are we going to maintain consistency with those task codes? I'm going to have abbreviations built right into TimeSolve, and those abbreviations can be as large as I need for them to be. But here are my abbreviations, and I can just type something in, CC, FF, RE, and it's going to give me exactly what I need in order to be consistent, to have consistent language across all my bills, to have consistent language when I'm talking to everyone in my firm, and to know exactly what I am doing for this client right now. And then lastly, I want to make sure that you guys are using TimeSolve to track your hours all the time if you are working for a client, even offline. Once you regain internet connectivity, you can, the system will sync up. So the work that you've done offline will then sync to your online TimeSolve account, and everything will be up to date again. But there is literally zero excuse to stop tracking your time. All right, that's part of this, right? You need to be using TimeSolve to capture everything that you're doing through descriptive billing, through multiple timers, through consistent language, but capturing all your time every single day. And then beyond that, you need to get paid. So how do you get paid easily? I'm going to skip over most of this, and we're going to talk about electronic payments. This is where you need to be, folks. If you have not turned on an electronic payment credit card processing system, you need to do that today. In fact, if you sign up with TimeSolve today and enter an invoice in there, you can actually send that invoice to your client with the link, either via email, if that's what you want to do, or through the client portal. You can send that client the invoice. If your client pays you today, you can get paid. That money can be in your bank account tomorrow. That is not through all solutions. That is through the TimeSolve credit card processor called TimeSolve Pay. Not all software solutions are created equal, and TimeSolve's solution is phenomenal in this way. You don't pay your bills by cash, probably. Why do you expect your clients to? Meet your clients exactly where they are, the way they want to pay you. It's the quickest way to get paid. It's your fastest way to process billing, because that money will be in your bank account. It will be reflected on the invoice to your client. It will be marked as paid in the system. You just clear it from your bank account when you're doing your reconciliations, and you're done. So, you're reducing reconciliation errors because it is a fully integrated system. And again, the rates are second to none, and nobody pays you faster than that. So that is a lot of information about TimeSolve. Let's see, is there anything else? Workflow, improve your process. Yes, here's the other thing I want to talk to you about. When you are billing clients, make sure you have a dedicated time every week or every month, however frequently you bill, and make sure it's a repeatable, consistent process. And that means using a workflow template. Within TimeSolve, you can get your bills out in 30 minutes or less if you have consistently been billing your, tracking your time for each one of your clients, right? But the ability to batch or bulk invoice your clients, it's just a couple of clicks and those invoices go right out. You have an opportunity to review all of your invoices, to make any adjustments that you need to make, and then boom, send them out as a batch, including instructions on how to pay. It's an incredibly simple system, and it's part of the ProfitSolve ecosystem. Within ProfitSolve, we have all of these solutions. What you are looking at for TimeSolve is that payments and that time and billing. That's really what you need here. But if you'd like to learn more about any ProfitSolve solution, you can visit us at profitsolve.com. All right, with that, I'm done. I told you I was going to stop at 20 or 25 minutes. We are about 22 minutes into the presentation, so I am calling it right here. If you have questions, please let me know. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much for your time today. I sincerely appreciate it, and I hope that everyone goes on to have a fantastic week. Thank you, everyone.